Hi everybody, hola a todos. Aquí estamos un día más en Eurovision Info con Eurovision Fantasía, una entrevista de los dos canales. And today, hoy tenemos con nosotros a Evangelia, una de las cantantes más influyentes ahora mismo en el ámbito eurovisivo. Hi Evangelia, as I said, you are one of the most wanted and yeah, like the most the one that the Spanish and Eurovision fans are most excited about, from Greece. And yeah, hi, thank you so much for coming to our interview with Spain Eurovision Info and Eurovision Fantasia.
Muchas gracias.
Yeah. Calista para Poli, Calimera, or Calispera actually now already. Yeah, so as I said, you already are in the minds of the Euro fans for a very long time and in the wish list. So first of all, before we start talking about you and Eurovision and everything, how about you introduce yourself to our audience, and also can you tell us a little bit more about you, because you know that you are like you for example, like you are from Greece, but you were born in the US and you grew up there. So how do you feel being like from the US but being that connected with Greece, and how did you end up like getting in the Eurovision world?
Yeah, okay. So yeah, my name is Evangelia, depending on where in the world you are. And I was born in the US. My mom is Italian American, a few generations living in the US. And my dad is from the island of Crete in Greece, and he moved to the US. So I'm first generation Greek on that side. And I basically grew up going to school in New Jersey, but spending every summer and the whole summer of my life on a farm with my yaya in Crete, and just really grew up loving the Greek traditions, and the language was my first language. So I just was always split between these two worlds my whole life. And now fast forward, when I wanted to pursue music, I was trying to figure out what my identity was, and exploring in the studio. And what I found was that just like I'm half and half, spending my time in these two worlds and these two cultures and feel so deeply connected to them, my music has to feel that way too in order to be true. So I started taking influence and blending traditional Greek elements, certain instruments like the bouzouki, or taking some rhythms, but blending them also with American pop music as well. So it's this like kind of unexpected blend in a way, but it is a reflection of who I am. And once I started doing that, I felt for the first time like, oh, okay, I feel really represented, and I feel really, really good about this music. And because before that, I was more just a singer-songwriter with my guitar, doing everything I could by myself. But then once I found the collaborators, and my boyfriend and I, we write all the music together. And once I got in the studio with him, and he started learning bouzouki, he's not Greek, by the way, and we started doing everything, it all just fell into place. And then the Eurovision conversation, because I grew up in the US, I missed the Eurovision craze in Europe when I would come to Greece, except for, of course, when Elena Paparizou won, and Eleni, whenever we would do really well, because it would ride summer. Yeah. But time I would get to Greece, Eurovision was always kind of like over, and I kind of like knew about it, but I didn't really watch it, because we don't watch now. We're starting to be more into it in America as well, but growing up kind of weren't. So I didn't actually consider myself or think about Eurovision for myself like before. And then when I released my first song, Pame Pame, which was the first one that had this blend of Greek and English and bouzouki and showing Greece, the majority of the comments on my YouTube video were like, oh my gosh, you need to go to Eurovision. You need to go to Eurovision. Started trending on Twitter. This girl needs to go to Eurovision. I was like, the people want me to go to Eurovision. I should look into this. Yes. So kind of the idea of it truly was put in my brain by my fans and people who discovered me and were sending me messages. I get daily messages still, even now, like, don't give up, please try again next year, and it's really sweet and really encouraging. And when I got that, so I got enough messages all over different social media and comments about Eurovision. I was like, you know what? I'm going to give it a try. And so I've been trying, and both for myself, but also I think for the fans, like for real, like for the people that really have been encouraging me and putting it on my mind in the beginning.
Nice. Yeah. And also, like, have you ever considered like exploring also your Italian roots, because you said that you are also like part Italian? So I mean, the Greek music, it really works in Eurovision, and we love, especially like in the Mediterranean countries. But have you ever considered exploring that Italian side of you?
I have considered it. So what's kind of unfortunate, like in the US, my mom is third generation, her second generation Italian. It was her grandfather that came over from Italy.
Yeah.
And it was during a time when it was hard for immigrants to keep their culture and their language alive. They wanted the children to be Americans so that they wouldn't get made fun of, or, people were really.
Yeah.
So sadly, the language was lost and wasn't passed down. So besides like the food, I didn't really have such a deep connection to Italy itself in the same way that I was able to have with Greece, because my dad was from there. My whole family on my dad's side is there. I've never met my family in Italy. I don't even know who they are there. But I did choose to take Italian in school because I wanted to get in touch with my Italian side. I feel Italian. I feel very proud to be Italian. I just haven't had the privilege of being able to grow up as close to the culture. So, but yeah, I learned the language. I'm not fluent, pero parlo un po' di italiano. And I studied abroad there one summer as well in college. So, I love Italy as well, and I am very proud of my Mediterranean heritage.
Yeah, that's super nice. And now let's talk a little bit more about like your connection with Greece. So your family, like your dad is like from Crete, right? But so now you live in LA, right? So like you are based in LA? Okay.
Yeah, I'm based in LA, and I'm just here in Athens right now this winter because I got a residency opening for Argyros and Ruvas. So I'm kind of like, people are like, where do you live? I'm like,
all over the place, all over the world.
Right now, yeah.
So did you grew up in the US, like, because you said that you were born in New Jersey, right? Or what did you say?
Yeah, I was more in Jersey, and then I lived in New York for a little bit, and then music is what brought me to LA.
Yeah, of course.
For music, you might know this, I was a teacher. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know it.
Yeah, so I had a Greek immigrant dad in the US being like, hey, don't do music. That's silly. That's not going to make you any money. Get a real job, study, get a real job. And so I did. I actually have my master's in elementary and special education. And I was a teacher for 3 years. And then I was laid off at the end of my third year because there were budget cuts in the district, and they cut all the young teachers, which I was one of them. So it was a very sad thing for the school system. But for me, it was a push, or I chose to see it as a push from the universe to pursue music and this dream that I always had. So
yeah, nice. So we know that in the US, like the Greek community is really big. Like so in every place you lived, you had a Greek community, right? People and stuff. Like you've been always surrounded by Greek people, and you grew up with the language, right? It's not like the Italian that you lost it, but with Greek you are fluent and you were born with it. You know other like Greek singers from the US, like, because for example the one that that comes on the top of my head is Calomira, of course, because she's like from the US. She represented Greece in 2008 and is my favorite song from Eurovision all time. So do you know other like Greek singers, or have you talked with them about Eurovision also, or maybe with Calomira, and what's like the opinion about the Greek people there with connections to like in Europe, like with Greece, about Eurovision?
Yeah. So yeah, there's a lot of Greek people. There's a lot of Greek people in the US, especially where I grew up in New Jersey. I forget where is Calomira from Boston.
Yeah,
I don't remember.
Boston. Yeah, Boston.
Yeah,
New
somewhere on the
York.
East Coast.
Yeah.
I always really loved her as well, as a fellow Greek American girl. And now recently that I did my, I've been in this world and doing my career, I met her at Mad Walk and she recognized me and came up to me and I was blown away. And I was like, oh my God,
The Queen.
Calomira knows.
The Queen knows me. Yes.
Yeah, I love her. I think she's amazing. And she's also just like a wonderful, sweet, kind person and just has this amazing energy around her. And yeah, she's just really sweet. And we've made plans. We're like, okay, next time I'm in the East Coast, we'll hang out, So I'm looking forward to getting to know her more. And
Yeah.
I'm just excited that we know each other. I really like her.
I mean, in the previous years, like especially last year and the year before, you and her were the top ones. Like people were rooting for you or Calomira to go to Eurovision. We all were like, oh my God, yes, please, they need to go. Because Calomira, yeah, like she's been like absent from the music because she's been a mom, like she became a mom recently, and now she's like
Yeah.
a little bit out of the music world, but now she's starting again to get involved in
Yeah.
music, and we were
She's
hoping
getting.
to, yes, hoping to get her back in the Eurovision. But yeah, that's so exciting that you connected with her and that you also have like a great support from Greek community there in the US.
Mhm.
Nice.
And Evangelia, what is your relationship with Eurovision? Because we know you've been in close contact with the format a couple of years, and Eurofans really had to in the tops in the wait list of the for Go to Eurovision, because you recorded with Fotia with Eleni, and you were very famous in Spain. And if this push to submit a song to ERT to represent this Eurovision, and how many times you have you submitted for Eurovision?
Yeah, well, my relationship with Eurovision, it really began when Elena Paparizou won, and I was so proud as a kid. That song. What year was that? Was that 2005?
5, yeah.
Yeah, that was a great year for the Greeks. We had just won the Euro Cup, the 2004 Euro Cup. Then we had Elena Paparizou. We had no idea.
The Olympics also.
Huh?
The Olympics.
And the Olympics. It was just like a crazy time. And I remember when that song came out being so proud, and especially proud because it had lira in it, which is an instrument from my island of Crete. So I was just like, yeah. Yeah, I was like, look at Elena Paparizou playing liras in the song, and we won. The world loves Greece. I love being Greek. This is amazing. So I always had that memory kind of in my heart, and then fast forward when I started my own music career and people were telling me to get into Eurovision, I started getting into it even more and paying more attention to what was going on, because like I said, being in the US in May, it's not as they're catching up. They don't realize what they're missing, because Eurovision is amazing. And I'm actually kind of bummed that a lot of the years I kind of missed how amazing it was. And now I'm more involved and paying attention and cheering people on and seeing the artists. And it's such a cool celebration of music and art and culture. And I love it.
Yeah.
And I love being a part of it, even though, I haven't been able to go. I'm very grateful and honored that there are people that root for me to be a part of this amazing thing. And in terms of how many times I've sent, I've sent 2 years now. I submitted to both Greece and Cyprus last year. And then this year, Cyprus had already chosen Andrew Lambrou pretty early on.
Yeah.
So I only submitted to Greece, and we'll try again.
Of course, you need to try it again and again. So the first time you entered with Onira, or with which?
Yeah, it was with Onira. Onira was the first. And then for Cyprus, I also in Aphrodite as well.
Yeah, Aphrodite, yes, of course.
Yeah.
Aphrodite is from Cyprus, so like
Yeah. This is, I didn't write it for Eurovision. It just kind of, I wrote the song and I just felt it would be a perfect fit if they were to agree and it would work. So once I wrote it, I was like, we have to send this to Cyprus too.
Yeah. So talking about the song that you submitted this year to represent Greece, Pali, right?
Yeah.
Would you say that it's the best song that you've wrote until the date for Eurovision, or now that you've been rejected, sadly, do you think like, okay, maybe it wasn't the best one, I'm gonna try something different next year? And also, yeah, can you tell us a little bit more about your songwriting process to write a song for Eurovision or in general?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's just Bali is one of my favorite songs I've written.
It's really good.
Period. Yeah, I truly love this song. It makes me happy when I listen to it and the drop comes in. It's like a different type of music break than I've had before in my other music. And I literally put it on, or when I show it to people, I like put my hands in the air and I just imagine in a stadium and just like a vibe. And when I've showed my friends that speak English, and it's the hook is not that hard to learn, even if you don't speak Greek, because of the way the melody is. And I just feel it would have been it just would have been cool. I would feel really proud to take a song that has Greek language as well, because I know that a lot of countries, including Greece lately, has been more leaning towards
English. Yeah.
more in just English pop songs, which is fine. But I think it would be really cool to have Greek on stage as well, if it's done well. So yeah, one of my favorite songs, and I'm excited. I'm getting ready to release it with some surprises. So since it didn't go to Eurovision, there's some extra surprises that I can do and throw into the mix. So exciting things are coming. And yeah, and as far as for the future goes, I submitted 2 other songs as well that were more English leaning. And I think I'll just keep doing what I'm doing, of just like being in the studio and exploring and writing music. And some of my songs are fully in English, like Aphrodite, for example, there's no Greek lyrics in it, but still feels true to me and I love it. So it's just going to be exploring and seeing what each song needs. And then depending on if it agrees or not. I think it depends on what mood they're in.
Yeah, it really depends on the year. Like some years they just go for your kind of songs, but recently they've been leaning more for international and commercial stuff. So let's see. I mean, they didn't get the results that they used to have like in the past, but there are not they're like bad results. It's like always close to the top 10. So it's not bad, but
and it was 8th place, I think, right? So that's really good.
When this year?
Not Amanda 10th.
Amanda
I think she
or
8th.
8 or 9, yeah, I think. But yeah, and then Stefania was 10th. So
10.
really
So they're doing well. So
yeah, nice. So now let's talk a little bit more about your current situation. Like you are now playing, as you say, like in a club in Greece every weekend, right? How did this opportunity come? And tell us a little bit more about the experience on, having the residency like in Greece and spending that much time in Athens.
Yeah, so this is my first time spending this much time in Athens ever, and especially this time of year. I'm used to being in Greece mainly in the summer months, coming for trips for work. But now I've really moved here and lived here since November. And I never expected to get this opportunity. I got the call one day, and when we got it, we were like, okay, we really should consider this, because Konstantinos Argyros and Sakis Zoubas are 2 of the most iconic artists existing in Greece right now, and they are
Eurovision stars, icons.
Like incredible and amazing. And to have the opportunity to get to open for them every Friday and Saturday night, it's like 50 shows, and get to be here and experience this. I almost feel like I'm studying abroad, Because I'm like here, I feel like I'm like studying to be a pop star in a way, like, which I know I am, but
Stars Academy.
it's
Yeah.
yeah, it's kind of pop star academy, because it's like, but study abroad. And every weekend I get the opportunity to get on stage again and just keep working on my craft and learning and perfecting it. And I have a lot of fun with fashion and with styling. I change my outfit every time I go on stage.
Amazing.
Look and the makeup. So I love dress up. I love performing. It's been a really awesome opportunity and a really cool experience being here during this time of year. Athens is an amazing, amazing city. I love it.
Yeah, and do Konstantinos and Sakis know that you submitted for Eurovision, and have you talked about Eurovision with them or not?
They definitely know I submitted. We haven't talked too extensively about it, but they would have been happy for me and encouraged me to just keep going. They're really big supporters of me. I mean, the fact that they even, have me there, because right, I set everybody up for them. So right after me, they come on stage. So it's a real honor that
Yeah.
I have their support.
And I know how passionate the Greeks are when it comes to live music and performing. I was in Josephine's and Josephine's like this residency also in this summer in Halkidiki, and I was so shocked about how people are so passionate,
Yes,
about it. It's crazy.
And this type of opportunity doesn't exist really anywhere else. Like here in Greece, all the pop stars, all the artists, they have residencies all winter long, and they're full all winter long, and people are ready to party to their music all winter long and go to these residencies. So for me as an artist in the United States, it just really fit well into my schedule, even because even in the US during this time, people are more in studio and writing and recording. The tours and the festivals, they're starting up now in the spring. So it was kind of perfect timing and has been just really cool. I remember when I got the gig, I called Eleni Fureira, asking her advice and her opinion, and she was like, of course you should do it.
Yeah,
absolutely. All right, I'm gonna do it.
Like I never heard about this in other countries, and when I went to Greece and I saw that they were doing the residency, Josephine opening for Petros Iacovidis, I was like, oh my god, I need to go there. And then I was there and I was like shocked because throwing the roses with the everything like in the stage, it's like so Greek. I'm loving this.
It's so great. It's so passionate and fun and long. People they're long shows.
Yeah. I mean, I was there for I don't know how many hours, like listening to them, and then people like was asking for more songs, and then Petros and Josephine went on the stage and did like a couple of more songs, and they were like never ending. So
good. It's so unique to Greece, and if anybody here watching
and stuff, like it's not only like a show, it's not only like a concert, it's the show, the roses, the people like going crazy, then fireworks, it's like crazy.
Yeah, it's wild.
It's a lot of uso also.
Yes.
But yeah, and how do you compare like living in Athens, which is like a very like big city and stuff, with Crete? Because we know that as you said, you always spend the time in Crete, and all the summers. And I heard that Crete is quite like a narrow-minded island and kind of like a traditional. So see the differences. Like I guess that now you are more living like the international experience of Greece and more like a current than what you grew up with in Crete.
Yeah. Crete always has a special place in my heart. My family's there. It almost feels strange that I'm in Greece and I can't see them because I have to take a flight, to go.
Yeah.
And it is more for really good traditional food. Let me say, the best food in Greece is in Crete.
I know.
But yeah, being in this like metropolitan, like, and you are right, super open-minded community and like embracing all types of the arts and all types of people. It's so much fun. My past experiences of Athens have only been in the summer for a couple days on my way to Crete, and it's too hot and too full of tourists.
Yes.
And none of are even here. They're all on the islands on vacation. So now in the winter, all the locals are here and they're in town and it's alive. And I tell all my my American friends, I'm like, you guys, New York is not the city that never sleeps. I'm telling you, Athens is the city that never sleeps. Like there's always something to do. Always something to do, no matter what time of.
Literally, it's it's like Spain. Like, you know, like now I live in London, and compared to London, is like they say like it's very bubbly and amazing. But then when I compare to Madrid, you know, in Madrid is like so much like life, the night life and everything is like, and the fact that everything is later, you know, like in Greek, especially, like everything is later, so it feels
That's
like
why we had Greeks and the Spaniards were like this.
literally we are the same. Yes, like I feel more connected to Greeks than to Italians. Then they say that Italians and Spanish are really similar, but for me, I think it's Greeks and
Yeah,
Spanish.
I think we're really similar. Like more Southern Italians are closer to the Greeks and
yes, and Spanish, true. And now let's talk a little bit more about your next concert. So you say that you will go to Australia on tour in few weeks. How this opportunity arrived to you? And also let's talk a little bit more about your concerts in London with Antigoni that will be performing next Thursday, right? 2nd of March with her, which she's also like a Greek, she has also Greek roots and Cypriots, I think, right? And she was also in a lot of islands. So here in the UK, she's really famous. So how do you know each other, and how these two opportunities came to you?
Cool. So Antigoni messaged me, or actually I noticed she liked one of my posts about my song Paradise on Instagram, and she commented on it. I noticed the blue. I was like, oh, who's this? Who's Antigoni? And I click on her, and then I just like kind of check her out. And I am a big Love Island fan, but I don't take the time to watch all the seasons. I watched one season and that was kind of enough for me because it's too many episodes and I get too invested and then I can't do anything in my life. But I do love Love Island. And I remember telling my friends, oh my God, there's this Greek girl from Love Island, you know, and she liked my song. How cool. And then I noticed that I had a DM from her as well. And she was saying that she was singing Paradise. It was stuck in her head. And I found out that she was an artist as well. And so we just really connected via Instagram at first. And then when we were both in Athens at the same time back in November, we linked up in person and we just really clicked. And so we had the idea both together at the same time. Like, what if we did a show together in London while I'm in Greece? It's not that, you know, it's not that far. And it would be just a really fun thing to do. And so we have actually brought it to life, and I can't wait till March 2nd. We're getting ready for it all. It's going to be a great show. Yeah.
Yes. And have you write anything together, like any song, or are you planning on releasing something together?
That's top secret for now.
Okay.
But you'll definitely see us doing something together at the concert.
Okay, great. Can't wait. And what about Australia? How that story started, and now you're flying literally to the other side of the world.
I feel like I manifested Australia because I've been talking to, I like to stay in touch with the fans, and on Instagram I message different people, or you know, I try to respond to all messages, and there were a lot coming in from Australia. And I remember telling my team, man, I would love to go to Australia this year and do some shows. There's people there that are connecting. As you know, there's a big Greek community in Australia as well. So then a month later, after I said that, we got an offer. I got invited to come. And so we said yes. And I'm so excited. I'm trying to remember the organization, what they're called. It's like Olibos. Let me look it up real quick. They're called Olympus. Yeah, Olympus Entertainment. So Olympus Entertainment reached out to my booking agent, and they wanted to bring me to the 3 cities and make it happen. And I said, let's go.
Of course.
I'm so excited.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm not gonna say no.
Yes. Yeah, and as you said, there is like a really big Greek and Cypriot community in Australia. Actually, the guy from Cyprus this year, Adam Lambro, like he's
Yeah, maybe I'll see him when
yeah,
I'm there.
maybe. I don't know. I think he's now in Athens, actually. I think
Yeah, I know he was just here. I don't know if he's still here. We'll find out. I'm gonna give him a call.
I think he was filming his video or something. But yeah,
Yeah,
the song looks really nice. I mean, like, have you
yeah,
heard the teaser? He uploaded some like teaser in Instagram.
yeah,
Sounds
yeah.
amazing.
He has a great voice. He has such a good voice.
Yeah.
So
And
I think
he
yeah.
tried to represent Australia last year, right? He was in
Yeah,
the
in Australia this time, yeah.
Australia
And
side.
he's in fifth position, I think.
Yeah, he came fifth.
Yeah, five.
Yes.
See, there's a path and a plan for everybody. You know, he thought he might go with Australia, but now he's going with Cyprus, and that's so cool because he actually has Cypriot roots too. So that's really special.
Yeah, amazing. One day you will be
Yeah.
also in the Eurovision stage for sure.
One day.
Manifesting. Everything is manifesting. So and now let's talk a bit about the future. Like are you planning on releasing more music in Greek or in other languages, maybe in Spanish, because as we said, you already did Fotia in Spanish, Perder Control, which was very well received by the Spanish fans, and people were like, oh my god, this is a sign that she needs to go to Eurovision, we need her in Eurovision. Are you planning on expanding your audience to Spain and touring or maybe doing some concerts there? Because I can really see your music working very well in Spain as Eleni, you know.
I love to expand and go to Spain as well. And I do love the Spanish language. I joke around that I don't speak fluent Spanish, but I sing fluent Spanish. And I work really hard on it. A lot of my friends in the US that I grew up with and that I have in LA are Latin American. So I hear Spanish around me. I listen to Spanish music a lot. And I'm grateful for the love and support. And yes, definitely in the future, you can look forward to collaborations with some Latin artists, whether they're Spanish or from Latin America. I'm working on new music. And yeah, I love this idea of just bringing different cultures and languages and sounds together and seeing how it all can actually work. Yes. I was really proud of Perder Control and hearing Spanish with Buzuki, you know, it's like, why not?
That works amazingly. You should maybe like write something for Benidorm Fest for the Spanish selection or for Eurovision.
I know. Could I probably, but I'd have to be, don't they only send like Spanish people? A lot of my friends, my Greek friends here, one of them in particular, she studied abroad in Spain and she loves Spain, is obsessed with Spain, can't wait to go back. And she, you know, frustrated with me not going to Eurovision. She's like, you know what? Why don't you just go with Spain instead? Go do that thing. And I'm like, I don't know if I can, but
you need to be half of the singer or like group. Like if you for example submit a song someone from Spain, that could work. It's only 50% needs to be Spanish. So
yeah, you need that. Yeah.
Interesante. Muy interesante.
Yes, we can talk more about it later off the record. Yes. And also about representing, like we know that maybe now Greece is a little bit like difficult to enter, but Cyprus, for example, we know that the most iconic and famous singers from Greece, such as Tamta, Eleni Foreira, Elena Tsagrinou, they represented Cyprus in the past with really, really good results. What's your opinion on this? Like, would you be happy to represent Cyprus? Because basically Cyprus is the small sister of Greece, so it will be, and also like it's an island which is very close to Crete, where you are from. So literally you could be from both.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. I'd be extremely honored and very proud to represent Cyprus. I feel a close connection to Cyprus because they are an island as well, just like Crete. And people from Crete and people from Cyprus have this special bond because of that. It's like, you're from the island too. And like big, strong cultural islands. A lot of our dialect is actually very similar too. Like in Crete, we say che and they say che too.
Amazing.
So yeah, I would love to represent Cyprus if I ever had the opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, like it seems that the best Greek singers or the most famous ones, they always go to Cyprus. So maybe it's a sign that you will need to be part of that team of queens.
You never know.
Yes. And also let's talk a little bit like about the situation this year. Like you submitted a song and for the ERT, and you didn't even were selected for the top 7 or 8 songs that were like announced as the shortlist. And this
Yeah.
year, sadly, as recently the Greek like selection is been surrounded by a lot of drama and like scandals. So because it seems that it's not very transparent and it's very polemical, because like for example this year, like Victor, which is like a really it's a really good singer, don't get me wrong, and his song is good, very different for Greece, but he wasn't the favorite to win at all, like amongst the Eurofans. And actually Melissa, who was the favorite to win, she's now thinking on like getting into more serious stuff with the ERT. How do you feel about all these polemics? Like you've been a little bit like out of the polemic this year because you were already like cut down before everything started, but how do you feel about all the situation, and also what was your reaction when you weren't even selected on the top 7?
I was definitely bummed when I wasn't selected in the top 7, because what I was looking forward to was the announcement that people from the public would get the opportunity to listen to the songs outside of just whoever is in it that makes the decisions. So I was really looking forward to the possibility of that. And when I found out that the people wouldn't even get to hear my song, I was definitely like, oh, that's a shame. That would have been cool to have that opportunity. But I've always said this from the beginning, whatever's meant to be will be. And if it's not meant for me, if it was meant for me, I believe it would happen. So if it's meant for me one day, it'll happen. Just like, look at Andrew Lambru, he tried for Australia. It was meant for him to go with Cyprus, though. And so who knows what the future holds. I think it is unfortunate, hearing about the different scandals and things that could be going on. But I just kind of am like, I really don't know anything. I legitimately don't know anything. All I know is that I do my best to write the best songs I possibly can and submit them. And then from there, once I submit them, I just kind of let go and say, whatever's going to happen is going to happen.
Yeah, that's the best you can do. And also like nowadays you can try, like you have Greek roots, so you can submit to Greece and Cyprus, but also like in Spain, we love you. And like you can even like consider representing Spain at some point, or entering Spain, or even San Marino. The selection of San Marino is really open, so you could even
had a lot send me San Marino when Greece didn't work out. So many people like the application for San Marino is still open. So who knows, if it doesn't, it would be amazing if I could go with Greece or Cyprus. But if it's not meant to be that way, I still would love to be a part of the competition in one way or another. So who knows, maybe España.
Yeah, maybe.
I hope so.
Yeah, praying for that.
Yeah.
It would be we could do a Greek and Spanish blended song. It would be pretty interesting.
Yes. Like El Diablo by Elena Zagrinu.
Yeah.
Yeah. And did you usually watch Eurovision?
I did over the last few years, but like I said, it was almost like it was like Sakis Ruvas, Elena Paparizou, and Kalomira are the ones I remember from my childhood, because they were like the big superstars at the time that went for it. So in my younger days, that's kind of when I would go crazy for Eurovision. And then recently, over the last 3-4 years, I've been really following along and paying attention. And now I know people that are in it. Last year I knew Amanda, and I was glued to the TV watching it and rooting for her, and for Andromache as well. Yeah,
Andromache is a really big name in Greece now. Like she's very famous. And also like you did a collaboration with a song with Amanda, so you are getting very close to Eurovision.
And do
Yes.
you have any favorite song with Eurovision in general?
I have to say I have You Are the One. Heleno, I know I've said it multiple times, but she's got the lira in there. So I love it. And then Fuego is just Fuego.
Yes.
It
Well,
just
it just,
gets me moving.
yeah, literally like a hit breaker, you know, like it
Yeah.
broke, like it was, oh my God, so good.
Yeah.
In Spain, especially, it was a hit. We love her.
Yeah.
Really.
Nice.
Great. So yeah, thank you so much for your time, Evangelia. It was a pleasure to have you here with us in the for the interview for both Spain and the UK. We can I will see you next week on your concert in London. So make sure you get your tickets and to see Evangelia singing with Antigoni, and also we hope to see you very soon in somehow in Eurovision in a way or another. And yeah, before we go, if you have a message to your followers, both here in London and UK or Spain, that you have a lot of fans in Spain after that hit with Eleni Foreira, that would be amazing. Thank you so much. Ευχαριστώ πάρα πολύ, and τα λέμε very, very soon.
Yeah, you go first. So I want to say thank you to you both for having me, and thank you to everybody for their support and for encouraging me to keep going, whether that's in Eurovision or outside of Eurovision. And it really means a lot to me. It really, 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 really does. Like when people send me a message, I really take that in and I keep it in my heart. And so I'm just very grateful for everybody's support. I hope to see everybody who's watching from the UK at the London show on March 2nd. I'm so excited. It's going to be my first concert in London. And muchas gracias a todos en España.
Sí, perfecto.
To everybody.
Yes,
Nice.
perfect. Bravo.
Muchas I really love you all, and I can't wait to learn more Spanish. I'm working on it. I do have a tutor, and to also give you more songs singing in Spanish. And yeah, I can't wait to come out there as well. Thank you for everything.
Thank you.
Thank
Ευχαριστώ
you.
πάρα πολύ.
Εγώ ευχαριστώ. Αλήθεια.